the middle of a Peruvian desert, there's a drawing of a hummingbird so big that it's only fully visible from the air. It was made almost 2,000 years ago. Nobody who made it could fly. And that's just the beginning of how strange this place actually is. This is the Nazca Desert in southern Peru, and spread across roughly 450 square kilometers of dry, flat ground, ancient people carved hundreds of massive images and lines into the earth, shapes so large that some of them stretch for miles, and so precise that we're still not entirely sure how they pulled it off. Let's start with how these lines were even made, because the method itself is stranger than most people expect. The desert floor here is covered in a layer of reddish-brown rocks, weathered dark by thousands of years of sun exposure. Underneath that dark layer is lighter, yellowish-grey soil. The Nazca people simply removed the darker top rocks along their intended lines, exposing the lighter ground beneath. That's it. No paint, no digging deep trenches, just clearing away rock to reveal a contrasting colour underneath. But here's where it gets strange. Because this region almost never gets rain, averaging less than an inch a year, and because there's very little wind at ground level to blow dust back over the exposed lines, these markings have survived for around 2,000 years with barely any erosion. It's basically one of the only places on Earth where you could draw something in the dirt and expect it to still be there 2 millennia later. Now here's the part that really confuses people. Some of these designs are simple, straight lines, stretching for miles across completely flat terrain. Others are enormous geometric shapes, trapezoids, spirals, triangles. And then there are the biomorphs, giant figures of animals and plants, including a hummingbird, a monkey with a spiral tail, a spider, a condor with a wingspan of over 100 meters, and a shape that looks strikingly like a human figure some people call the astronaut, though that name is more about internet speculation than anything archaeologists actually believe. Here's the detail that made this genuinely famous worldwide. These figures are so large, some over 300 meters across, that from ground level, standing right next to them, you can't tell what they are. You just see lines in the dirt. The full shape only becomes clear from high above, which raises an obvious question that people have been arguing about for decades. If the Nazca people couldn't fly and had no way to view their own work from the air, how did they design something this precise? And more importantly, who was it actually for? This is where the debate gets interesting, because the answer probably isn't as mysterious as it sounds, even if it's still impressive. Researchers, including a German mathematician named Maria Reiche, who spent decades cataloguing the lines by hand in the 20th century, discovered that many of the figures could be created using a surprisingly simple method: staking out key points with wooden posts, then using ropes stretched between those posts to guide workers in clearing the dark rocks along the intended path. Small-scale sketches or models may have been enlarged proportionally using basic ratio and measurement techniques. It didn't require flight. It required careful planning, teamwork, and patience. And archaeologists have actually found some of the original wooden stakes still in place at the endpoints of certain lines, giving direct physical evidence for exactly this method. So the how has a reasonably solid answer. The why is where things get more genuinely uncertain, and multiple theories are still actively debated today. One leading theory connects the lines to water. This region depends heavily on a network of underground aqueducts called puquios, some built by the Nazca themselves, which channels scarce water from mountain aquifers to the dry desert surface. Some researchers believe the straight lines may have functioned as ritual pathways, walked during ceremonies asking the gods for rain and water, with the geometric shapes acting as sacred markers along the way. Fragments of pottery and shell offerings have actually been found buried at the endpoints of several lines, supporting the idea that these were active ceremonial sites, not just decorative art. A second theory ties the lines to astronomy, the idea that some straight lines align with the positions of the sun, moon, or specific stars at key points in the year, functioning as a massive calendar to track seasons important for agriculture. This theory was popular for decades, though modern statistical analysis has found the alignments are less consistent than researchers initially hoped, meaning astronomy might explain only some of the lines, not all of them. A third theory focuses on the animal figures specifically, suggesting each one may represent a specific clan, family group, or community symbol, similar to how modern communities might use a flag or a mascot, with different groups responsible for maintaining or adding to their own designated symbol over generations. And then there's the theory that refuses to fully die in pop culture, the idea that aliens made the lines, since a civilization without flight supposedly couldn't have created images meant to be seen from above. This idea gained mainstream attention in the 1960s and 70s through popular but heavily criticized books. Archaeologists have thoroughly debunked this. We have direct physical evidence of the tools used, the wooden stakes still in the ground, records of gradual construction over centuries, and even smaller-scale unfinished lines showing the same process in progress. There was never a need for anyone to fly. The lines were never meant to be seen by anyone in the sky. They were meant to be walked by people as part of ritual and belief here on the ground. Here's a detail that keeps this story from feeling settled, though. In recent years, researchers using drone photography, satellite imaging, and even artificial intelligence trained to scan the desert have discovered hundreds of previously unknown geoglyphs in the surrounding region, including a 2024 study that used AI to help identify roughly 300 new figures in just 6 months, nearly doubling the number of known Nazca region designs almost overnight. Some of these newly found figures are much smaller than the famous giant ones, and many appear to depict humans, decapitated heads, and animals in more violent or ritualistic scenes, suggesting parts of Nazca culture we hadn't fully understood before, potentially tied to warfare or sacrifice rather than peaceful ceremony. That's the strange thing about a mystery like this. The more advanced our tools get, the more of it we uncover, and the more complicated the full picture becomes, rather than simpler. Today, the Nazca Lines are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and they're incredibly fragile. Because the desert surface has remained undisturbed for so long, even a single vehicle driving across it can leave tire tracks that last for decades, if not longer. In 2014, environmental activists were widely criticized after leaving visible footprints near the hummingbird figure during a protest, causing damage that conservationists say could take years to naturally fade, if it ever fully does. And maybe that's the real story here. A desert that stayed almost untouched by rain, wind, or people for 2,000 years, holding drawings that were never meant for us to see from above at all, until airplanes came along centuries later and accidentally turned an ancient act of ritual and prayer into one of the most famous archaeological mysteries on Earth.